with AI content, there's a lot of confusion about what type of funding the EIC Accelerator actually provides, because some AI apps still talk about 50 million in equity funding, which is very much outdated for almost 2 years now. So basically, the EIC Accelerator has two types of funding: the grant funding, which is non-dilutive, and the equity funding, which is dilutive, which usually is an equity injection by the EIC fund. But basically, the grant, you can go up to 2.5 million. That is the actual grant that you're going to request. But you will see the number of 70% funding rate. 70% funding rate for the grant means if you have a project, let's say magically it's going to be a budget of 3.57 million euros. 70% of 3.57 is 2.5. So 70% of the 3.57 project cost is going to be 2.5 million euros. That means if you want to request 2.5 million in grant funding, you need to have a total project cost at least 3.57 million, because they have a 70% funding rate. So it's not like you have a grant project for 2.5 million and you can request 2.5 million. It's more like you have a bigger project and the EU gives you 70% of that max. So this is usually why you see the projects that actually get or request 2.5 million, they usually have a project cost of, let's say, 3.6 million, because they want to get over the threshold and make sure that they can actually ask for the maximum amount. It's a bit of a numbers game because you're basically increasing the budget to match. Of course, you shouldn't do that, but I bet you if this rule was changed, that you can literally ask for 2.5 million without the 70% calculation, I bet you suddenly all the project costs that apply for the accelerator would be 2.5 million. I don't think they would end up at 3.6 every time. This is literally just done because of the 70% rule, which makes the rule a little bit redundant, but that's how it is. For the equity funding, now you can go up to 10 million. There used to be a time where you can ask for up to 15 million, but they changed that. It's up to 10 million now. There's still exceptions to that because the EIC fund can still decide to invest more or less. There is still a variation that can happen afterwards. But if you apply for the EIC Accelerator, you have to stick to the rules. It's, let's say, up to 10 million is what you ask for. How much you should ask for, it really depends on the company. So this is now a very different question. I usually make a recommendation based on the planned future funding round, because I understand how much the EIC fund would like to invest. So of course, you don't want to overstate the role of the EIC fund. It has to be right about where a co-investor would be. But on the other side, I also look at the previous funding rounds. How much funding have they raised so far? And is it realistic that they could get that private investment as a co-investor? So to keep it short, 2.5 million as grant funding is what you can request, and 10 million in equity is the maximum amount you can request.